Hey everyone, welcome to Throwing Rod's Garage, and in this video it's going to be a little different. Now I am trying a new GoPro, so bear with me. I hope I don't look any uglier. But anyhow, we are going on vacation here pretty soon, and so I have to service the Silverado and work on the camper. Now that doesn't need a whole lot. There's an outlet that's not working, and I just want to check everything over, make sure it's all greased up, tires are good, bearings are good, blah blah blah, all the lights. And the Silverado, I need to change the oil, and let's see what else. I think the back brakes are squeaking. I drove it today and I heard the squealers, so we're gonna see what we have to do there. Well everyone, this is our little camper here. This is I can't remember what year. Starcraft Travel Star 17 foot. It is a hybrid camper, so the front folds down. This is a queen size bed. The back folds down and it's a full size bed, and I'll set it all up, show you guys. I mean, it's nothing fancy, but I absolutely love it. My wife loves it. We camped with it once. We went to Branson a few months ago and did great, pulled great, but I still want to make sure everything's good. You know, like I said earlier, the bearings, the tires, and we have an outlet in there that didn't want to work, so I'm gonna check that out, make sure the water 12-volt pump works, just in case we need it. You never know. And I do a little bit of cleaning in there, so my wife doesn't have to worry about it. All we have to do is just pack up, hook up, and go. So I'm gonna go ahead and open it all up because it's easier to work when everything is open, because it's kind of cramped in there. The beds are laying around. I'll take you through what it kind of looks like right now with it closed up, and I'll show you guys what I mean. Alright. It's a happy camper. Here we go. The battery is dead. But you walk in, see, this is where the first bed, it needs to fold down. And you walk around. This is the bathroom. This is like a closet. Actually, I'll just show you. It's got quite a bit of room in there. Bathroom, I think. Yeah, just has cushions. We have one of those little cassette toilets that go in here. And there's more of the bed stuff for the front. Now that mattress is for back here at the back. This mattress down here is for up here. And more of a covered space. Got some pots and pans and whatnot in here. I did put a TV up here. It is fastened. It will not move. It's stuck in place. And of course we have the kitchen area. Stove, everything works. Fridge works. That's great. Sink, we never used it. It does have a radio in here, 2 little speakers. Up here I thought was pretty cool. They hid the microwave. Fancy. And there's Lola. She's always wanting to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get this thing opened up, and I'll show you guys what it looks like whenever we get it all opened up, and then I'm gonna start working on the outlet. Now I do want to make note that the canvas isn't the best. It is the original canvas and it does need replaced, but it works for right now. Well, the seal's not holding very well. Good thing I opened this up now. Oh, let me get wet. Got wet. That's the fun part about having old campers. Well, it's a little wet inside, but it's not bad. Well, it's all together. I'll take you over here and I'll show you guys a better view of it. That ice and water, today's actually one of the nicest days. It's 60 degrees, kind of crazy for February weather. But as you can see, that's it all open. Pretty good size. But like I was saying about the temperature, that we just got a whole bunch of snow and it would melt a little bit one day, freeze, melt and freeze. So I guarantee it pulled that seal loose. So I'll have to check out the seal on the front. The back is dry, but the front is a little damp. The mattress is just a fuzz damp. It's not bad at all. I'll just put a fan in there. It'll dry out. But I'll show you guys what it looks like inside. Come through, don't mind. I have the vacuum still. I didn't put the mattress up there because it's just a little damp, just in a few spots. But this goes out to like a nice seating area. It's got a table that goes right here in the middle, and this all is just nothing but seating. It's really nice. And this is the other side. That's the full. And again, like I said, don't mind the canvas. It is old. You get holes in there. You just patch it up with whatever you got. Works just fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and hook this thing up. I do have a 30 amp plug-in behind the shop, and that'll allow the battery to charge up again. The battery is pretty old, but it'll be just fine. And what else do I need to check out? I don't think there's anything else other than getting the outlet, the tires checked, throw the extra spares in the back of the truck, tools, of course, all that good jazz, and grease it, make sure it's all good to go. Of course, I wanted to pull out this receptacle first. Now, it's not plugged in, don't worry. It won't shock me, at least I hope not. But I want to double check, make sure that everything on this side looks okay. And I'll look underneath this panel to see if the wiring is maybe chewed on. I hope not, because last time this camper was used before we bought it, it sat for a while. I mean, you know, campers do that. A lot of people don't go camping all the time like we try to do. So I'm gonna check the wiring to this outlet, wiring connecting to the outlet, because it was working just fine, and right at the very last day, right before we left, the heater quit working. And I know that's quite a bit of amperage on this little guy, but it's a small heater. But I just want to make sure that everything is connected correctly. Nothing's loose. Let me use the flat side. I don't like how that is not curved. I'm going to reset that. I like them looped around. Does it really make a difference? Probably not. Does it make me feel better? Yes. Am I an electrician? No. Do I want to be? Absolutely not. Should I be doing this? Well, I mean, this is just simple stuff. There. Good and snug. This one's snug. It's pretty decent still. Wasn't loose. So I have a feeling it's probably behind the breaker panel over there. I'm gonna flip this up the right way. I don't know if there's a right way, wrong way, but the OCD in me says put it the same way as the other ones in here. So as soon as I get this thing buttoned up, I'm gonna move over to the breaker box. All right, now for the breaker box. I opened it up down here. It's just got the inverter. But I want to see, I don't understand why it didn't work. I mean, it worked great. Then I ran out of fuel in our gas-powered inverter. Oh, that probably doesn't help any. Make sure all the rest of these are good and tight, good and tight. Yeah. Now I know those are just 12 volts. There's nothing in that one. Must be just a spare. Okay. just information on the breakers. Make sure all these neutrals are snug. But when we ran out of fuel in the inverter, when I fired it up, it worked great. And right before I was getting ready to shut it off, the heater quit working. And I thought, well, that's just kind of odd. So it didn't pop a breaker. Maybe it was just the heater that went out. That would not be good, because I haven't tried it since I got home. Breakers all look great. None of them were tripped. I'll leave them off before I plug it back in though. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug this dude in real fast and hear if anything funky goes on whenever I turn all the switches on. Switches, I meant breakers. But anyways, I'm going live. Okay. Nothing. Maybe. Oh. Here's something. Well, that's the inverter. I don't know when all of a sudden started making noise, but I guess I'm gonna plug in a few things and see if all the outlets work. That's the only thing I can think of. So I'm gonna grab a light of some sort. See if all the outlets work. Well, when you don't have the fancy schmancy electrical test lights, and you don't have one of those fancy, well, just a regular light to plug in, you bring out the ones that you make. This is one thing that I made just because I was bored. It's a Holley single barrel sitting on top of a fan clutch with an LED light on top. Let's see if it works over here anyhow. Ooh. Oh, it's all kinds of dirty. It's been sitting in my shop getting dusty. Hey! Okay, we have power there. That outlet works. Let's go on to the one that I did repair. The TV has a light on, so that's good. That outlet works. This is the one that was the problem child. Hey, we're back in business. So, that probably means that the heater went out. So, well, problem solved on that part. Don't have to worry about that. I would rather the heater be the issue versus the outlet or a wiring issue. But the problem is we might need this heater in this upcoming trip, so might have to get a heater. Now inside the bathroom, I planned on removing the floor because this floor sits a lot higher. I mean, compared to my hand, off the ground, because this is supposed to be a tub, shower, toilet room. So I'm going to lower the floor down so you're not stepping over a huge step, and I'm going to try to cut at least a little bit, maybe a little bit further down, so there's not much of a step to get into the bathroom. So it's a little bit more user-friendly, and you don't feel like you're sitting so high and your head's hitting the ceiling. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that board out and see what all that's gonna entail. Looks like they really jam-packed it in here. Oh, they did. Oh. Well, let's pull the rest of that trim off. Let's try this again. How do we get that far? Hey. Oh, nope. Looks like the floor is going to stay right there. We have the outdoor shower, which I plumb forgot about. tons of wiring, and at one point in time there was some mice, of course. Where this thing was parked was kind of out in the middle of the country. And I can't move any of that stuff because that shower goes to the outside. Outdoor shower is pretty handy. But I would say most of this was underneath the bathtub because it was a bathtub and toilet all in one. So, yep, I'm going to go ahead and add some supports to the bottom here. That way, we'll just leave it the way it is. Why not? So I'm gonna go ahead, get a shop vac out here, clean all this up, and then, as you can tell, that board's pulled away. I'm gonna add some more supports, just here, there, and everywhere. Probably put some uprights in between these wires, which, boy, from the factory, they don't do such a great job at making sure the wiring is in a safe manner. I'll try my best. I'll get most of this cleaned up, get the wiring taken care of the best of my ability, add as much bracing as possible so we don't break any water lines or have any... I just don't want anybody to have any trouble. I want this to be a good, fun trip. Well, it isn't the best, but it's a lot cleaner. I still need to wipe down the hose for the outdoor shower, but it's no biggie. Now, this brace and this brace is glued. I didn't want to screw it, put a screw through the outside because it's a fiberglass outside. But this one's screwed in place. There's one here, and then I'm gonna put a brace in the middle of the board. Of course, not tangle up the hose for the outdoor shower. And the results are in. It's a lot cleaner. I still gotta clean the little outdoor shower hose, make sure it looks better than what it is. But this brace and this brace are glued in place with F26. I don't want to put a screw to the outside because it's got a fiberglass exterior. This one's screwed in place. There's a brace here, a brace over here, and then I'm going to put one in the middle on the board so, the center support is a lot better. I did zip tie these wires, made it a little bit cleaner down here. Yes, I know it's not the prettiest, it's not the best, but this will work perfect for what our family needs. Now, I don't fit in this bathroom. I mean, I'm 5'10", 185 pounds. But I usually use the facilities that are at the campground. Just, it's more comfortable. You can't shower in this anyway, so every time we go to a campsite, campground, wherever, there's usually a bathroom and shower room there. And when we're off in the middle of nowhere, we usually hit the showers at like a truck stop or, well, not at truck stops. Those are expensive. We were trying to, but we usually hit campgrounds that are pretty close, so it's no big deal. But this bathroom will work great for our family, and the girls will be happy about it. All right, floor's in, and now for the real test. We're good. So, if it can hold me, it's definitely gonna hold my little wife, my little daughter, anybody else that wants to get in there. Well, everyone, it's dark now. But I got all the lights on, made sure all the lights inside work. Everything is up to par. I picked up all the tools, and just like, normal, I work all the time, run out of daylight, and I can't check the axles, well, the axle, and the bearing grease and all that good jazz, and the tires. I think I'm gonna go ahead and order a pair of tires. I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna go see how much they are online, and I'll call a couple tire shops tomorrow and see what the price would be on some tires from there. But I'm gonna call it a night. I'm gonna go in, have some supper, and enjoy some family time. Well, everyone, it's the next day, and I'm gonna go ahead and check out the wheels, bearings, and grease them and make sure the torsion axle is greased up. Everything's good to go. I already hooked up the lights, made sure all the lights are great. And I need to get tire size so I can figure out which tires I need to get on order, so we're not running late for the vacation. I don't want to take a chance on these tires. They're kind of old. They have the weather checking, but the tread's great. And they did great all the way to Branson, but better safe than sorry. So I'm gonna jack up both sides, check it out, and we'll go from there. All right, now before we went on our small trip to Branson, I did all this. I repacked the bearings, I greased them up, made sure they were good, but I just want to make sure, oh yeah, they're still tight. To see, tell the flat spots with the tires. And the other wheels that I did have on here are spares. When we first bought it, they rub up back here, and I'll show you guys as soon as I get the wheel off. Yeah, lube up those lug nuts. See? Oh, disrupted a poor little spider. But they rubbed up in here. It does have trailer brakes. They do not work. Just remembered that. So I guess I need to look into that, because the last time I hooked it up, had the trailer brakes set up. The moment I hit the brakes, it killed my brake controller, popped a fuse. Brake lights and everything still work, but that did not. So I'm gonna check it out and see what I can grease for the torsion bar, if there is any grease, but this feels great. Well, got the tires off. I checked all the wiring for the electric brakes. Everything seems to be fine. The only thing I haven't done yet is pulled the wheel hubs off yet to see if there might be a short in the electrical in there, because everything else seems to be really, really good. Maybe it was a bad ground, who knows. But anyways, I'm losing daylight. It doesn't look like it, but the sun's already down. It's got a beautiful sunset. But anyways, I have to get my boy's car out of the shop. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the EGR valve on that for him, since there's more light in there. And then as soon as that's out of the shop, I can get the Silverado in, get it serviced, and we'll be good to go on that part. Alright guys, it's another day, and again, it's dark outside, but I'm gonna go ahead and service the old Silverado, get the oil changed in it, get the brakes checked, make sure all the fluids are good and full, and I think that's about it on it. It shouldn't need a whole lot. It's not quite due for an oil change, but we are gonna do about 1700 miles. So I want to make sure it's all good to go. Don't want to have any issues. Now, I rotated the tires last, and I usually rotate the tires every other oil change, so I don't have to worry about that. But I am going to check the rear brakes the other day, whenever I recorded, 2 days ago, working on the camper. The back brakes were squeaking when I was going down the road. So they might be dirty, they might be low, I don't know. I haven't ever serviced the brakes on this thing since I bought the truck back in 18. I have put quite a few miles on it. It does have, well, the hood says it's topped. Let's see, 125,000. I bought it, well, my wife and I bought it with only 62,000 miles back in 18. So it's probably due for a few things here and there. It is a 14 Silverado, if I can find the hood latch. Gotta find it, there it is. With a 5.3. Of course, that little thing there is a mouse wrap deterrent. Nothing fancy about it. I mean, it does run extremely well. It's got a cold air intake, stage 1 tune, exhaust. But other than that, she's all bone stock. Brake fluid is a little low. So that's a good sign it probably needs brakes. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and let her warm up. I'm gonna jack up the rear tires and check the rear brakes as it's warming up. Okay, got it jacked up. Put a jack stay underneath of it, you know. Safety third. Gonna bump it up a little more. See how thin they're getting. Ooh, yeah, they're getting there. I will probably, oh, you can't see the inside one. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get a new set of rear brake pads. I would say they're hitting the squealer. Might as well do it now. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave the wheels off, reposition the jack stands, take the jack out so I can at least jack up the front to change the oil. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and check all the fluids before I start draining the oil. Always like to double check. Always like to check and see what level it was at before I drain it, to make sure I'm not burning any. I don't have good light. Oh, thank you. Now, right at 100,000 miles, I done the usual, you know. Oh, right in the middle of the full in the ad, so that's good. But at 100,000 miles, I did the spark plugs, did a whole bunch of maintenance on it. So we already know if the brake fluid is low, but I just called. I have some brake pads coming for it. They're actually in stock. I gotta pick them up. They won't deliver out here. No biggie. But power steering is electric, so no power steering fluid. I do have some washer fluid, and the coolant needs topped off a little bit. Of course, always run the AC Delco filter. And for the fluid choice, for the oil, running the Mobil 1 020. Just what it calls for. Well, not necessarily the Mobil 1, but it is 020 that it's called for. It's getting pretty low. Oh, I have a brand new jug over here. Oh well. And the coolant is just barely low, but I always like to keep it completely full. Sorry, I'm checking as I go. I can't see the fill line from here. There we go. I know you're supposed to check it when it's cold, but it's fine. I need to get one of those hood lights so I can be able to, so I can see better underneath here. The serpentine belt looks great. I did replace the AC compressor last summer because, oddly enough, I had a small leak. Thought it was coming from the compressor O-rings, you know, for the AC lines. Replaced that, refilled it, you know, did the vacuum, of course. Had no leaks, filled it up, and then the compressor blew out the side of it. I don't know what happened. I didn't even know it happened until the AC quit working. And I was like, man, it's I just filled it like 3 weeks prior to that, and it worked fine. Never had any issues. And then one day I got in it, started, it wasn't fine. And I crawled underneath there, and the AC compressor had a big old hole in the side of it. So replaced the AC compressor, and it still doesn't work. All because I finally found the small pinhole leak, and I say it didn't work. This new air compressor, or AC compressor that I put in here, it worked great for about 3 months. It held up just fine, and ended up losing the AC again, and my condenser in front of the radiator got a small little pinhole from a pebble when I was going down the highway, is my assumption. So I'm gonna go ahead and jack up the front and start draining the oil. All right, I got a small light underneath here. Let's see, did I pick the correct size? I did. 15 millimeter. Don't start dripping. There it goes. I probably need to get a new plug. Well, oh well. There we go. I'll let that drain, and I'm gonna get the oil filter broke loose and let that start draining. Oh no, did I make a mess? I did. I hope I didn't get you guys. Oh, fight it fair. There we go. One of these years, I'm gonna get a lift, and this will make life so much easier. But I am super thankful for a shop, because that was a lot better than what I had before, which was a teeny tiny garage, and I had my classic car in there, so of course I didn't really want to take it out to work on anything. So I worked in the gravel. Now while I let this finish doing its little draining, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the new filter, and I always pre-fill it. I was taught that if you ever had a filter where it sits upright or at an angle, any which direction, as long as it sits upright, always try to add oil inside the oil filter so it doesn't have a dry start. Now one thing you definitely want to make sure is that whenever you take off your old oil filter, that your mating surface for your new oil filter is good and clean and free from having the old oil filter gasket stuck to it. Now this little bit of red right here, that is from some stuff called torque seal, which is just a little thing that you add You can mark it from here to the oil filter, and it can tell if anybody has tampered with your filter and that it was torqued on there correctly, and the person that did it made sure and marked it. Also, you always want to make sure and lube your O-ring with some fresh oil so it doesn't get stuck up there the next time you take it off. Perfect. I already cleaned up the old drain plug. It is fine. The gasket is great. There was just a little bit of a burr on the hex part here for the socket. Looks like somebody tried running a 16mm on it before. May or may not have been me, but it'll be a-okay. Go ahead and just snug this up. And that's it. Oh, I say it, guys. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the oil mess that is left down here. And we'll top it off. Of course, I'll wipe off all the oil and spray it off. Don't wanna leave no mess. And we'll add the oil, fire it up, and that'll be it on that part. I'm gonna check the front end, make sure that there's no grease certs that need to be greased. I think there's 2, but they are on these. Yeah, they're the tie rods. The tie rods have been replaced on this once before, so just gotta grease that, make sure everything's good to go. And if anything else pops up, I'll just double check it. And of course, while I'm down here, I'm definitely gonna check the transfer case, the front and rear differential. I mean, it's a lot of miles and it's gonna be pulling a camper. So, better safe than sorry. I don't have any visual leaks on anything, but I'd rather just be on the safe side. It is jacked up a little bit in the back. It is a bright red, but I'm going to get something I can stick in there because it's not supposed to be perfectly full, flowing out. It's supposed to be a 1/4 inch below this fill hole. So I'm gonna find something I can dip down in there that's right at that 1/4 inch or a little bit below to make sure it's filled where it's supposed to be. And of course the zip tie, if you put it in there, goes about a 1/2 inch or a little bit more in there. But I have a white rag here to check the color. Oh yeah, it's a little dark, but it's not bad. It don't smell bad, but it's probably due for a service. So I might grab the fluids for it, depending on how much time I have. Whenever I get back from work tomorrow, I might grab enough fluid to do this transfer case, just so it's serviced. Better safe than sorry. Now for the rear. Oh, hey. That's an odd looking spare tire. Well, better check the air pressure on that as well too. But, oh, you guys fell. You okay? Welcome back. Oh, the first tumble that my poor little GoPro has taken. The first of very many. I can guarantee it. Oh, it's got a little bit of metal shavings. What do you expect? I pull a lot with it. Yeah, it's full. Doesn't smell bad. Smells like, the nasty, wonderful differential grease. I'm gonna go ahead and clean off that magnet. Now, I don't have the tool. Yeah, I do. I do have the tool to suck out the fluid. I don't really feel like pulling the pan off, but I have a pneumatic fluid vac that I can go ahead and pull differential fluid out. Well, who knows? We just might go ahead and just service this thing up. Of course, it's too late in the evening today to go into town and grab everything. So, off to check the front. Oh, I do have a little bit of a leak. Not a big one. Let's get some moisture up there. Well, it looks like it did at one point in time on my pinion seal. You know, ironically, 9 times out of 10, don't laugh at my light, it works. But 9 times out of 10, the leak is coming from the vent being clogged on the differential. So it builds up a lot of pressure, and the easiest seal for it to go out of is the front pinion seal. The only reason why I say that is because I came across that issue with my little Toyota pickup. I lost some differential fluid out of the front seal, front pinion seal, and I was really dreading changing that. And thankfully, I noticed that the vent was completely clogged on the rear differential. I cleaned up the vent, topped off the fluid. I've never had a spot of fluid on the front pinion seal. So I'm gonna go ahead and check out this vent. I can feel it go all the way up to the top. It might have a mud dauber in there, dirt dauber, whatever you call them. Clogged up the vent. So that might have been the issue. It looks like it's leaked at one point in time, but it has stopped because it doesn't look like it's, visually wet right now. All right, moving on. Well, this is a first for me. I am under the driver's side of the bed. I've traced the differential vent tube all the way up to here. This is the tube. Sorry, I have horrible lighting. And it goes up by the gas fill tube. And I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Way up there. That is the vent. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean it up and make sure that it's not clogged. Clean off the lens. I don't know if you guys can tell. That all came out of that little vent tube, the little cap. So I'd say that was a pretty good indication that that was the problem with that pinion seal. So I'm gonna go ahead and check out the front differential, and I guess I'm gonna have to wait till tomorrow evening to do the brakes, the differential fluid changes, and I can fill up the oil, finish that up today. Well, ow, I found a leak on this one. And it looks like it's coming from, well, I would say the axle shaft seal, but I really think it's coming, oh, look at that, it was loose. Well, I'll be, oh, you couldn't even see my hand was in the way, sorry. This differential fill plug is gigantic. By golly, they wanted to make sure that when you needed to fill it, you could fill it. Oh, the O-ring is split. Look at that. See how it's pinched and just coming all apart? Looks like I'll be getting an O-ring for that. Oh boy, I'm glad I decided to check this before we went on our trip. Hate to grenade a nice differential. I need that rag. The truck is back on the ground because, well, the jack was underneath here and I couldn't check everything. I still got fluid, but it's pretty low. I'm gonna go ahead and make a list of all the good stuff I need tomorrow. I am glad I had seen that. I'm gonna go ahead and put this back in place so nothing gets up in there. I will get a new O-ring, fluid for the front and rear differential, and the transfer case. But for the time being, I'm gonna leave that finger tight. And I'm gonna go ahead and top this thing off with the oil. Sorry I feel and sound nasally. That's because of allergies. And I'm gonna finish up the oil change, reset the oil life, and that'll be about it for this evening. All right, this big old 5.3 liter takes 8 quarts of oil. I usually put like 8.5 in it, but it's a long reach. Put these engines really far back here. There we go. That is all 8 quarts is what it says. All right, let's fire this thing up. Got pretty good oil pressure. I don't know how to zoom in. I don't know if you can zoom in with GoPros. Now we'll check for any leaks. I don't see any. I know you guys might not be able to see it because it's dark, but so far so good. I'll let it run for probably another 15-20 seconds. Actually, I'm gonna let it run a little bit longer than that. I want to check the transmission. Good Lord. Looks like it's right at the bottom of the hot, but it is full. It doesn't look the best. Now I do know that these 6L60E transmissions have a bad reputation of going out at lower miles. This truck only has 125, and I bought it at 62,000. Didn't have any transmission issues. Knock on wood. Hope to not have any transmission issues, but it's inevitable. It happens to all those GMs, unfortunately. So I'm just fingers crossed and keep praying that this one lasts longer, because I don't want to have it rebuilt. That's pretty expensive. Right. Check the level. Maybe. Hey babe. Looks like it's right in between the full and add. I'll probably top it off to where it's at the absolute full. I like to keep it all the way. And I think that'll be it. That'll be it for this evening until I get some parts. I'll see you guys tomorrow evening. Well, everyone, it's the next day. It is beautiful outside. It's in the 70s and I am excited. So I got the new parts in yesterday, but I didn't get a chance to work on it. So today I'm gonna give it my best, and I'm gonna slap the rear brake pads on, hop onto the front brake pads, and then go ahead and start servicing the differentials while I do all of that. So let's get to it. All right, step into my office. Now, it's a 13. I usually just brake the bottom one, flip it up, use a brake caliper depressor, but I loaned out my brake caliper depressor, so we're just going to have to do it the old-fashioned way and just be careful. what I like to use is just one of the pads. Well, I guess these weren't too terribly bad. It wasn't hitting the squealer, but they sure were dusty. So what I like to do is very carefully use C-clamp and gently turn it. Now if it gets anywhere near tight, like it's not wanting to press in, don't force it, you'll break the caliper. You just go slow and steady. Let it take its time getting the brake fluid all the way back up to the master. Slowly but surely. Now these rotors are absolutely perfect. There's no lip on them, and they didn't shake while you're going, when you're hitting the brakes, so no sense in me having them turned. I know you're supposed to have them at least turned to knock off any glazing, but honestly everything was perfectly fine on it. I just wanted to make sure it's got good brake pads for this trip and pulling a camper. Yeah, they were getting dusty. They're not wearing unevenly or anything, so a slider pin wasn't giving any issue. They are a little dry, so I have some brake grease to add into the slider pins and on the brake pads themselves. Not the mating surface, not where it's actually the brake pad, but where it sits in the brake caliper bracket. Of course, I got my brake pads from O'Reilly's, and the set that came with it comes with new hardware, so might as well put new hardware on. Get everything out. Good grief, maybe. All right, I'm back with a little screwdriver. I can get these old chunks of hardware out. They definitely were getting pretty thin. I think part of the squealing, oh, yep, was right there on the hardware itself. Because I noticed it would squeal just ever so slightly when you start moving, but nothing serious. Let's see if I can get that pushed down in there like it's supposed to. Oh, don't mind my bald head. There we go. Don't laugh at my brake grease. It used to be blue. Now it's the same color as this grease that I'm putting on here. I just want to make sure it's got a generous amount, because this part doesn't touch the rotor or the brake pad surface, but I don't want it to lock up. It don't look the prettiest, but it'll be just fine. Now, as far as the caliper mating to the brake pads, I usually do put just an ever so slight amount just where the caliper touches the brake pad, but never where the brake pad touches the rotor. That will cause you some serious issues. There's some dirt. Where am I? I want to get that dirt off there. There we go. Now, some that grease, then reinstall it. Possibly, there we go, like so. Make sure all that grease gets in there good. See how it pulled a little bit of that off? I always like to add just a little bit more. That way I know that that caliper bracket is getting plenty in there. Now if they do lock up, it's windy outside. Now if they do lock up, what happens usually, that they have uneven wear, or it could cause your brake caliper to stick, which is never ever good. It just gives you premature wear, and then I usually just dab a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see that. No, you can't. Dab a little bit just on the part where the brake pad sits on the caliper bracket. A little bit on this one. You know what I really need to do is put this GoPro on my head. Might make life a little easier. And there they are. Whoop. Put the caliper back on this final time. Having a hard time seeing, so I'm not in your guys' way. What is the main? There we go. I'll say, what is the issue here? Brake pads weren't sitting in there properly. Ta-da! One side down, other side to go, then the fronts. It's hard to do not being in your guys' way. Perfect. I always try to make sure, give it, that the other bolt is still snug as well. Wipe off any excess. You don't want that getting anywhere. This side's good. Sorry about the air compressor. I went ahead and did the brake pads on both rear. They're done. I got the tires zip backed on, and now I have the pneumatic fluid extractor is what it's called, according to the box. But I'm getting the fluid sucked out of the rear differential so I can replace it with the new. And while it's doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the transfer case drain plug and get that draining as well. Well, that pneumatic vac got it all cleared outside. So now I'm gonna go ahead, easily as possible. I have this little pump, and thankfully, it does not fit the lid. That was sarcasm. But it makes it a lot easier trying to pump it in here than trying to squeeze little bitty bottles. So, let's see if we can, how long this is gonna take. Oh, it won't take too long. dribble it everywhere. Okay, that's probably about right. Okay, that's straight dead center. Down a little bit. Oh yeah, we're good. Woohoo! Finally. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put this fill plug back in. Wouldn't it be a great time to check and see that it actually has a drain plug? That'd be my luck. No, it does not. Alright. Oh, left my ratchet up front. Perfect. Back to the transfer case. I have put in the drain plug. And now I'm gonna see about adding some of this expensive fluid to it. It is just the O'Reilly brand X6. Says it's supposed to take 1.8 quarts, something like that. Let's see if I can do this without making a huge mess, but no promises. Let me get the drain pan underneath of it. A little better, just in case I do. Yep. I'll let it go. It is a little uphill, so I'm just gonna let it go to where it's almost dripping. Maybe. I'll probably double check it once it gets down level. I'll just leave it right there. So I don't want to leave it too low, but I also don't want to overfill it. So I'm just gonna leave it finger tight for right now and start draining the front differential. Right, now we're at the front differential. I already pulled out the fill plug because, as you can tell, it was wet. And whenever I took it out the other day, it was loose. There was no seal. It is supposed to have a nylon washer that goes on the plug that fits flush. And the dealership wants $30-something for that. And so I found a rubber washer that will do just fine. And it'll keep it sealed, and I won't have to worry about, leaking. So I'm just gonna go ahead and drain this one out, fill it back up, and I'll have to do a little bit of modification on the oil, or the fill tube washer. Sorry, I was trying to concentrate, think, and listen all at the same time. It is a little bit too large, so I have to just cut it up a little bit to make it fit, but it'll work just fine. This washer's stuck. I'll probably peel it off as soon as it's done draining. So while this is all draining, I'm gonna go ahead and start on the front brakes. All right, now with the front brakes, it's basically the same thing as the back. You compress the caliper in, which I usually use a little pry bar, stick it in here, sit there and you just pry back, and it compresses the piston in, so you can tell it moves. Then I usually break loose one of these caliper bolt brackets, lift it up, slide the caliper off, and just do the same thing like I did at the back. I have to get to town here in just a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and button up these front brakes, get them done real quick, button up the front differential, fill it up, and hopefully go for a test drive and break in these brake pads. Alright, I got the brake caliper pressed in all the way. It moves. Break loose the I already broke that one loose. I got a phone call in between recording, so just getting back to work, forgot what I've already done. Right? Sometimes that all gets stuck, but these brake pads weren't too terribly bad. These are a little marred up from wherever I was prying against it. Oh, hardware is catching the brake pad. Well, Mr. Butterfingers right now. There we go. See, they weren't terribly bad, but, well, I'm here. Might as well get it done. All before the trip. Don't need those. My new brake pads came with the new hardware kit. Ta-da! Had it backwards. Again, I always put some grease on the edge where it's just touching the brake caliper bracket. And don't forget about the slider bolts. Definitely don't want to forget that. And just as a reminder, don't put it on this side. This side is the part that contacts the rotor. You do not want grease there. See, that slider pin was getting a little dry. Pull this guy out. This one's a little dry as well. Not bad though. Put it up there to help hold it. Put some grease where this piston and the other piston contact the brake pads. I am just blabbing, probably driving you guys nuts. I apologize. There we go. I just don't want it to squeak. Squeaky brakes are no fun. This side's done. I'm gonna go ahead and hop on the other side and finish it all up. I'd like to test drive this thing this evening when I have to go back to town. Perfect. Well, everyone, good news. I got the front differential filled. Everything is sealed up like it's supposed to. The transfer case is full. Differential is done. You already know that. The oil change, all the brakes are done. And like I was saying the other day, never top off your brake fluid because that's a good indicator of how much wear you have on your brake pads. Now, mine, I did not top off. You can see the cap is still dusty. So I'm gonna show you the reason why. It's because now that my brake pads have been replaced, I don't know if you can see with the, there we go. The fill line is right here at the max, back to where it's supposed to be whenever it was from the factory. So when your brake pads are new, it takes less fluid inside the caliper, keeps more fluid in the master cylinder. So whenever the fluid level gets low, it's a pretty good indication that your brake pads are getting low and you should check them out. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing all finished, button up. Super OCD, I gotta double check everything, especially with this taking a couple days getting everything done due to work. And let's see, I wanna make sure everything's good. I'm gonna take it to town, get a few things in town that I need to get for our camping trip, and make sure the brakes are good. And then I'll pull the camper in after I get the brand new wheels and tires put on it to check out the trailer brake setup. It would be really nice to have the brakes working on it. Well, everyone, it's another evening. Got the camper squeezed inside the shop. I'm gonna go ahead and work on the brakes and see if I can figure out why it keeps popping a fuse whenever I try using the electric brakes. It'd be nice to have it. If I can't figure it out, it's not a big deal. We don't have a whole lot of hills that we have to go through except through Arkansas, but sure would be nice. So I'm gonna crawl underneath there, first get my light set up, then crawl underneath there and see what wires may be bare, chewed up, broke. We'll see. Let's take a peek. So here's the wonderful wires, part of them, and it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, a couple of them might be chewed up, broke, but they go from here all the way back up there. Well, that one crosses the top all the way back up there to that side, but I'm pretty sure this kind of butt connectors aren't the best, and it just sitting there all loosey-goosey isn't any better. So I'm going to clean this up, and I'm going to make sure that nothing is torn up inside here. I'll probably take those off last because I want to check the wiring first. So I'm going to redo these connectors, get the waterproof butt connectors, go over to the other side, do the same thing, and then I'll go along the same frame rail that goes all the way up to the front, make sure there's no wires torn in between there. So I went ahead and took the drum off, checked the bearings, they're all good, there's plenty of grease as you guys can tell. But all the wiring that goes from back here into the back up to this little electromagnet, I don't know the proper term, but everything functions mechanically like it's supposed to. Now with this storm that came in, I had to take the truck out of the shop, close the door because it rains inside, and so it's not hooked up. So I can't test the electrical side yet until, well, probably tomorrow after I get off work again, and hopefully everything works fine. I gotta put this one all back together, and I'm going to check the driver's side, the left-hand side, and make sure everything is okay with it behind the drum. Well, here's the left-hand side, and it's about the same as the other. The wiring all looks great. It goes all the way down. It looks like it tried to break a few times because, I mean, we went to Branson with it, and I fixed the fuse. I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss on this. I'm not the best when it comes to electrical, I will admit that. But the brake shoes look good, the hardware looks good, the electromagnetic magnet thing, whatever it's called, looks like it's in good shape. Everything moves. I mean, if you push it one way or the other, it works like it's supposed to. Sorry for all the loud noises. But I mean, it all works like it's supposed to. It just needs to be bumped back into place. It's a little dirty. I'm gonna clean it up, put it all back together, and hope for the best. I'll hook up the truck tomorrow and of course after work, and we'll see if it works. One last check of all the wonderful lights. The storm stopped, so I backed up, hooked it back up. Everything's greased up, repacked, torqued, good. All these wonderful little lights. Yep. Now, the one thing that happened last time whenever we first got this, I hooked it all up, and with my brake controller inside my Silverado, Down here, don't mind that, that's my engine scanner. I know it's kind of hard to see, but that green light, it's got a little slide switch that you can slide it over and it'll tell you, you know, how strong your brakes are hitting. Or you can just do it manually, you know, and preset your brakes. Before, I even barely touched it, I mean, just ever so slightly, and it popped the fuse, killed it all. So it's hooked up right now. So, I mean, we're a whole lot better than it was before. All right, with that being said, I do believe after, you know, testing at the controller, we didn't blow a fuse, which is a plus. So I'm hoping that the trailer brakes work. If they don't, it's not a big deal. The trailer doesn't weigh hardly anything, so it'd just be nice to have it. But the brakes on the truck are good. They're up to par. The tires on everything are good. I went ahead and replaced the tires on the camper. They have brand new wheels and tires. I got them a good deal. Let's see. I think fixing the wires on the brakes is what helped keep it from popping the fuse. I hope. But like I said, it's not a big deal if it doesn't work. All we have left to do is pack. It is like 11:30, 12:30. I'm looking at my imaginary watch. At night, I'm ready to call it. I'm gonna shut the shop up and worry about packing tomorrow after work. Again, I appreciate you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.